is that a strategy of yours where you want to get your guys comfortable with them, but then sooner than later you would like to have some tape to show them that it's not this easy and you need to do some things right to beat teams at this level?
Yeah, I think it's funny sometimes how the schedule works out. Like the deal with Florida, 3 and 4 years ago, I think. Isn't this tomorrow like an all-day?
Yeah, it's ESPN.
Yeah, whatever that is, Bonanza. Yeah. And then, with the Marquette deal, it had nothing to do with the boat game, which we were going to open a couple years ago. But I've liked the way this has worked out in terms of having a Big East opponent. I think last year was the third game of the year, if I'm not mistaken, up there, because it was a Saturday. Yeah. It's kind of worked itself out pretty well for us.
You don't want them to. I get. You want to ramp up the competition quickly so they don't get comfortable playing a certain way and thinking that's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't put that thought into it. But it's worked itself out that way, to be honest. I mean, this game has kind of fell on this date. It wasn't like, hey, I want, let's get a Big East opponent or a SEC opponent or whatever. It just kind of has always worked its way out. But with that said, I've liked the way that it's played out, because I think it does give you a pretty good gauge. And now going away from only playing one exhibition game, I think the more you can get guys a little bit more accustomed, the better that is.
Coach, they don't seem to have anybody that's going to play who's over 6'7". Figure if you guys play your zone defense, how do you propose or how do you feel from what you've seen from what they did the first game? How are they going to try and attack you, I guess?
Well, it's funny because we haven't seen them go against zone, but we've gone back and looked at Duke tape. We've looked at Drake tape. One of their assistants was a head coach at Drake. Just trying to get as much of a gauge as we possibly can. But knowing, as we told the guys Friday night, and we'll tell them again tomorrow night, we don't know what to expect. So it's got to be a high communication and really trying to figure out what we're going to do.
Coach Wojciechowski, I'm trying to pronounce it, just his second game as a head coach after being with that Duke program forever, player and coach, just him stepping out to take over this job as a challenge. Just what do you expect how his coaching identity will be developed and out of what you know about of him and what you expect?
Well, I don't know him well, but I think just from the standpoint of watching the Tennessee Martin game, it appears that he's not straying away too far in terms of how they're defending, how they're trying to push the tempo offensively. A lot of ball screen stuff. Spacing seems to be huge for them on the offensive end. And, like I said, defensively, they're up, they're pressuring, they're picking up full court. They're, doing what it looks like he's accustomed to.
I can ask one more question without hogging the mic. Just you guys have been coming out with a lot of three-quarters court, not trying to stop the inbounds pass, but pressuring at the foul line all the way and drop into the zone. What in your mind is that an idea to force them to whittle some of their clock down to then against your zone you only have to defend for 25 or 27 seconds?
Yeah, I think that plays into it. If they want to cough it up, we'll be more than happy to take it too. But I think just from the standpoint of trying to use our depth, trying to use our athleticism, our length, it's been pretty effective for us. We don't have it down to where I want it yet. We gamble a little too much from the wrong spots, and it's put us in some bad positions at times. But those are things that we're showing them and trying to get better at.
With the way the game went last year, where it's much more defensive, minded, you guys only put up 52. What are you hoping to see from this year's game offensively out of the team?
Well, that was brutal. Fortunately, Mark hit the three in the corner to tie it at 19. I think it was at halftime. I thought maybe the first one to 20 was going to win that game, but. I think hopefully it'll be a little higher scoring, I would presume. But, it's funny because in that particular game, looking at it, we did what we needed to do to win the basketball game. And, I remember coming out of there saying, hey, this team has a shot because we were so bad offensively. And we kept defending, and that's what kept us in the game. And then to start second half, we were able to score off some turnovers and get out and extend the lead.
So are you hoping to outscore the football team? Because last year they put up more points than you guys did on the same day.
Yeah, I got a couple texts in regards. They were playing Illinois. I still remember that. Yeah, and So, but as I said, they get 6, we only get 2. So.
Last year with Cam, I think you said that he was ready to go even after you guys decided to redshirt him.
Mm-hmm.
How did he approach practice, knowing that maybe he was good enough to get to the floor, but you guys were sacrificing the last month or so of the season?
Yeah.
And how important and how excited have you been to maybe get him involved as a scorer?
Well, I think, just from the standpoint of, he had lost so much weight early, and he wasn't ready in terms physically to play last year till probably late January, February, and I couldn't do it myself, even though we had troubles scoring. I didn't want to, take a year of his eligibility, but he was tremendous every day he comes in and goes to work, and I think him making some shots the other day was a great boost for him in terms of just getting him some confidence. That was his first true college basketball game, and was really pleased to see him do well.
I know you weren't ever going to do it, but did you ever give thought? There were a lot of people or a lot of stuff out there maybe that you might bring him in, and was he ready? Could he have given you guys a lift from long range last year? And with all the other guys that are getting attention with some of the freshmen like D'Angelo and whatnot, I mean, how much maybe has he been overlooked as somebody that can really lift you guys from the outside?
Yeah, well, I think there was no thought in my mind. Maybe a couple games I looked down there and saw him sitting there and said, hey, I know you can possibly put it in, but like I said, I didn't want to be selfish from my part and let him play a quarter of a year or maybe not even that much, and that be his season for his freshman year. But I do think that when you redshirt, you are a little bit forgotten in terms of everybody else. We haven't forgotten him. The biggest thing I've been pleased with is Cam has really picked up defensively. He's not gambling as much, and he's understanding positioning a lot better. So. The fact that he can make shots, he's very athletic and quick, is definitely good for our offense. Yeah, it was. Yeah, no question about that.
Is Amir going to be good to go? I heard he banged his knee.
Yeah, we he's gone every day with us since then. So yeah, we didn't practice him a whole lot on Saturday, but yesterday was full go. Today he's fine.
We talked about earlier in the season about how much depth you have on this team, and you said maybe it was as much as when you had Odin and Conley and all those guys. You're playing 10 guys. Is there more freedom, I guess, for you as far as all right, if one guy's tired or gets in foul trouble, you can just throw somebody else in and keep things going the way you want?
Yeah, most definitely, and I think from what we have in today, guys are comfortable playing different spots. And so they can be thrust in and, hey, you're this or you're that, and they don't miss a beat because they have a really good understanding of the position that they're playing, which is huge for us.
Does that make it harder on you in practice? Because I'm sure everybody's trying to compete for those 5 spots.
It doesn't make it harder. It probably makes it more enjoyable for me just in terms of seeing the guys compete every single day. And I think there's great camaraderie on the team. I think guys enjoy seeing other guys play well. And, from that perspective as a coach, that's exciting. I mean, to see them going at it every day, and we can mix teams up in the middle of practice, turn your shirt, whatever, and get the guys the reps they need.
And I know it's still early and pretty far away from Big Ten season, but do you think that you're going to cut down maybe from 10 when things get tighter, I guess, as far as game
I don't know. As you said, it is early, and I think as every coach in the country, we're not quite where we want to be just yet. But knowing that, hey, guys got to keep up their end of the bargain. If they want to play, they got to practice well and they got to play well in games.
coming off Friday, you win comfortably, but as you head into this game against a Big East team and Marquette, are there what loose ends, I guess, coming out of the game Friday, do you feel like we need to shore up for this game tomorrow against a team like Marquette?
Well, I think that, we did a nice job taking care of the basketball. We're going to have to take their team that prize off of, the one team they played, I think they turned them over 34 times. Tennessee Martin, I think they turned over 19 times. We're going to take risk. We're going to turn the ball over, hopefully not very much, but that would be one area. I think continuing to rebound the ball both ends of the floor is going to be huge. And then, defensively, just the communication's got to continue to grow. I think we're getting better at it. We're actually starting to communicate better on offense, which is something that I'm on every team about. But, I think guys, in terms of loose ends, understanding their roles more and more every time they take the floor and saying, hey, this is what I have to do to help this team. And it's not scoring. It could be, numerous things, but this is definitely a role type of basketball team. And the quicker they come to the realization of who they are and what they need to do, that ties up a lot of our loose ends.
Yeah, you talked the other night about shooting more free throws. I think you said you had 9 in the exhibition, 15 attempts the other night. Shannon said, I don't know if you said it, but maybe they've been settling a little bit too much for perimeter shots. Is this a team that's going to be aggressive against you like Marquette? Is this an opportunity to maybe take it right back at them and get to the line more?
Yeah, a lot of times it depends on how it's called, but I think from the standpoint of, I felt like in the Walsh game we opened up and we were a little bit trigger happy. I thought we did a much better job of distributing our 2s and our 3s and paint touches on Friday. But I think from the standpoint of every game is going to be a little bit different, but I think this will be a up and down, high octane type game.
Done anything differently as far as practicing them to improve the percentage, or are you still free throw percentage?
Yeah, we shoot a ton of them. Yeah, sometimes it's just getting the right guy to the line in a game helps. But yeah, I think that's something, and you guys know this, and it's still early, but you look over the course of the season when you get into Big Ten play and how many games come down to the last 2 minutes of the game. Free throw shooting is huge, and we've shown our guys like the end of the Michigan State game in here last year where we just had to keep defending because we kept missing free. But I like the percentages the guys are shooting. We tally everything, and hopefully we're getting better at it. All right, thanks, guys.